Today we're going to talk about the absolute worst way to try to convince a person to do keto. I get this all the time. People are so frustrated. They're trying to tell their friends and family members to do keto, and they're just not interested. So you show them the success stories, you show them the research, you explain the diet, and they still don't do it. Why is that? Well, the biggest reason is they don't really perceive they have a problem. And I know this might be weird because you're looking at them and you can obviously see they have multiple issues, but in their mind, they don't really perceive that. I mean, you see their belly sticking out, you can see all the skin lesions, and maybe even some gangrene on their toe because they have diabetes, but their blood sugars are being managed by medication, so in their mind, they're healthy. So it's really about awareness, the perception of the problem. It's very difficult to help someone if they don't think they have a problem. And of course, you don't want to invalidate them by telling them, no, you do have a problem, because that doesn't work either. So I make it a rule that I only help people if they can perceive a problem. So, I mean, you could do things to try to increase that perception very, very gently so they're okay with it, but you got to be careful about invalidating people. It's not a good thing, especially if it's your spouse. I know the temptation is there, believe me. All day long, I used to evaluate people, then I come home, and you don't want to do that. So even if your spouse says, oh, I have this problem, you just listen and let them come up with their own solution. The other thing that people will tell you is, I don't need to do keto because I don't have a weight problem. I mean, is keto for healthy people? Well, there's a lot of so-called skinny fat people. They have a lot of issues inside. It's not showing up yet. It takes years to develop. And then one day you have this health problem. But most people are not into prevention. They're not even actually trying to get healthy. They're just coping with problems, and maybe they'll get to it when it becomes severe enough. So your friends and family have to have a good reason for doing keto. So I always like to kind of find out first, do they have a problem that they want to solve? Then I'll go into keto. But I'd never, ever, ever explain the diet, like what to do to them before they're actually reaching for help, because you're just wasting your breath. If you were to go up to someone and start explaining the mechanics of how to do it, you're not going to be very successful. You'll be more successful if you explain why it works. You may want to get into, let's say, for example, they're trying to lose weight. You can talk about there are certain hormones that either block burning fat or stimulating fat burning. The ketogenic diet is all about leveraging those hormones based on eating certain foods to get in fat burning 24/7 and not be hungry and have improvement in mood and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This is a much better thing to talk about and focus on, not necessarily the details of how to do it. For that, you just send them to a book or a video, so then they can have time to digest it and implement it on their own. So anyway, I'm curious what you do to convince your friends and family about keto. Please enter that down below. Hey, before you leave, I just wanted to give you a little quick history on some of the books that I wrote. This was one of the first books. It's called Dr. Berg Body Shapes. It was my attempt at writing about body types. What was very interesting about this book is I actually did all the images myself. Don't ask me why. They look actually not quite as professional as some of the images that I have in the new book. But anyway, this is my first attempt right here called Dr. Berg's Body Shape Diets. And then I wrote a book more extensive called The 7 Principles of Fat Burning. I don't even have a copy anymore, actually, because it's outdated. The next book, I put about 1,000 hours into this one right here called The New Body Type Guide. Major updates on the body types. I put a lot of energy into this. It has professional images, graphics, all sorts of things. Now, the problem with this book is it doesn't really describe what this is really about. Body types are only a small portion of what's in this book. And that's why I changed the name to the Healthy Keto Plan, okay? If you happen to have this book, you don't really need this book. because there's some only very, very minor updates. But if you don't have this, you need to get this one right here. This book goes into every single detail that you would ever want to know about. It goes into the 7 principles of fat burning. It goes into hormones, the body types, the basic keto plan. It goes into intermittent fasting. I talk about the 10 fat burning triggers and blockers and fat burning strategies with a lot of details in every single chapter. I go into body issues that interfere with losing weight. There's very few people that just have a weight problem. They have a lot of body issues, whether it's sleeping problems, stress problems, inflammation, menopause. I cover that extensively in this book. Then I talk about how to get rid of stress, and I show you a technique. Then I get into exercising. And then I have a lot of really good recipes in this book as well. So this is a good reference guide. On my website, if you get this book, you get this one free. It's called Healthy Keto and Intermittent Fasting. This is the shortcut, quick guide to this book. And the reason I created this book is to have you, within 45 minutes, learn how to do keto, okay, in intermittent fasting, exactly what you need to do. Then you can fill in the blanks with this book right here. So right now I'm doing a special. If you get this book, you get this one totally free, or you can go to Amazon and get these individually. So I just want to clarify the difference between this book and this updated one right here. If you don't have this, you need to get this right here. That way you can get the exact correct information to do it healthily.